Thanks, Glenn, and thanks all for having me. I thought I'd start off just by sharing a little bit of my story, um, just to frame up, uh, I guess, how I ended up, yeah, at Dads in Distress and Parents Beyond Breakup, and also to give a bit of context of the slippery slope that we often go on during a separation. Um, this is actually the first time that I've recounted and recapped the entire story, so bear with me if I do get a little bit emotional. Um, it's quite an experience. So, look, I was unhappily married. Let's just call it what it is, and spent a long time trying to fix it. That didn't work. So I went from having a very normal life to basically nothing, which that in itself just was absolutely shocking. So the natural reaction is to reach out to your friends and family, and basically I hit a brick wall on every front. It's a case of it's all your fault, or we don't want to talk to you. It's all just too hard and too awkward. Natural reaction was go see the GP. I was very lucky. The GP in this case was very helpful, put me onto a good psychologist. Antidepressants entered into the conversation as well. That in itself was just a complete pivot from where I was, because I was quite happy and healthy prior to this. Our initial court date, her lawyer was very, very cocky and very confident, and he went in, and the registrar, thankfully, she was not taking any of his crap whatsoever, and they didn't get a very good result, which didn't really matter to me at the time. But what happened was the lawyer then played the card of, oh, you're mentally unstable, you can no longer support the kids, and therefore you can't see them at all, and sent me a letter in the post, and I got radio silence then. That was really the tipping point for me. Those dark clouds really close in fast. Having gone from everything down to being told by some random lawyer that you can't see your kids because he's decided that I'm mentally unstable, was that was extremely confronting. I worked on it with the psychologist and the GP and so on, and antidepressants. But bottom line is, when you've had everything taken away from you, especially your kids, nothing's going to stop those negative thoughts. I was reading online an article, just a newspaper article, about a dad who committed suicide after losing access to his kids, and I posted that on Facebook. I got a bunch of likes from my friends, but not one of my friends reached out and said, "Hey, what's going on? You okay? What's happening?" It was a pretty obvious post in reality. They all knew what was going on, but not one of them actually stopped to check in. So I don't know how this happened. I don't know if it's the Facebook algorithm gods or what, but I received a message from Parents Beyond Breakup, and one of the facilitators from Dads in Distress reached out to me and said, "Hey, have you seen this group?" I said, "No, I had no idea." And this was actually a direct message, which was just amazing. I had a quick chat with him online, and I remember the day, because I had like $14 left at that point. I had just enough money for the train ticket to get to the group and to buy like dinner for $10. And so I did that. I just thought, I'm going. I've got nothing to lose at this point. I'm really at rock bottom and contemplating things that I shouldn't even be contemplating. So I remember getting there after work. I was already tired. Work was horrible. I walked through the door, and for anyone that's experienced, you get this sort of tunnel vision, and like the dark clouds are real, if you like. I could only see sort of this in front of me. And I remember walking in and seeing Ross, who was the facilitator, and he shook my hand. He told me I was in a safe place, and gave me a rundown on the meeting, how it would work. And I just kind of stood there in shock at first, sat down, and I guess embraced the meeting. And I'd never experienced anything like it. I was in a room with a bunch of men, but more specifically dads, who were all going through various levels of drama, and the like. There were a lot of tears, a lot of difficult, awkward moments and conversations. But I realized very quickly that I was in a room of people who genuinely understood what I was going through and could relate in various ways. We all had our different stories and they're all unique. But I truly was in a safe place that I could actually share without fear of judgment. And that's something that I could never do with friends and family. And that truly, that moment, that it changed my life for the better. So I was exhausted after the meeting, just emotionally and physically exhausted. And I remember leaving and thinking, I am coming back to this next week and the week after, and I am completely plugged into this process, because it was the shock that I needed, and the right safe space without judgment that I needed, all wrapped into one, a beautiful piece of misery, if you like. It was amazing. I attended every week and I just listened. I heard their stories. Um, I gained knowledge on what actually happens in court. I've never been to court. I have no idea. I'm a very generic, boring citizen. It's I don't know anything about this. So a lot of people were able to share their stories and their experiences and what worked and what didn't. And so it really turned me around and gave me hope. From there, I continued to attend. I applied the knowledge. We went through the court process. The financials all got done. I got that stamp from the Federal Circuit Court. And the next day, it's like, oh, when do you want to pick the kids up? This is where we live. You can come pick them up. So, yeah, that in itself speaks volumes for the process and the systems and the lawyers and so on. It is what it is. It's history now for me. I've completely changed my life and reset for the better. I'm not on antidepressants. I do see a psychologist and a coach because I want to continue to work on myself, and I will continue to do so forever. I've changed jobs. I got out of a toxic work environment into a much better one, and I see the kids now every week. And most importantly, I have a very positive relationship with the ex, and we are co-parenting as best possible as any two people can. And arguably, in some ways, we do have a bit of a laugh about it, that we're probably parenting a lot better than some of the people that are still together, because we have to work on it. We have to plan. We have to really genuinely communicate about it properly. The kids are really happy, and they have two lives, and they're two very different lives, but they love both of them, and we support each other on both of them as well. And I'm so thankful for Parents Beyond Breakup for reaching out and saving me from what was clearly a very dark, slippery path.
Thank you, James. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that story.
Thank you.
From one separated dad to another who went through it 25 years ago or something like that now. I'm so sorry you had to go through that, but thank you for what you did to get through it. Thank you to Parents Beyond Breakup, and whoever those Facebook Messenger gods were that connected the dots of data somehow to actually get you to a human being and bring you into that group. And thank you for sharing that sort of the victory at the end, the optimism and the hope that you now have for the future as a result of being able to go through that and turn your life around. I know you now work as a facilitator with volunteer as a facilitator with Parents Beyond Breakup, supporting other dads. We haven't got time to share about that right now. But I didn't want to interrupt because the sharing of your story today is all about hearing men's stories, and the sharing of your story was so profound that I didn't want to stop you. So we're going to move on.
Okay.
Thank you. That's such a huge contribution you've made. I really appreciate it, and we will come back to you in the conversations we have after Tim's talk.